Before you close your eyes tonight, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, have you truly valued who you are today? Or did you spend the whole day comparing yourself to someone else? Every woman carries a power within her, a power so great that the world often forgets to acknowledge it. But tonight, I want you to remember it before you rest your head on the pillow. Life is not about how many people approve of you, it's about how deeply you approve of yourself. Too often, women give their strength away to expectations, to criticism, to the endless chase of perfection. But the truth is, you were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be powerful. Tonight, as you listen, allow these words to remind you of your worth, your purpose, and your inner strength. Because the way you end your day shapes the way you begin the next one. Self-worth is greater than validation. This is one of the most important truths every woman must remember before she goes to sleep at night. Too often, the world convinces you to measure your value based on how many likes you get on social media, how many compliments you receive in a day, or how many people notice the work you do. But real self-worth does not come from the applause of others. It comes from the quiet conviction inside your heart that says, I am valuable because I exist, not because someone else recognizes it. Think about it. A diamond does not lose its value because no one is there to admire it. Whether it lies deep in the earth or shines in a jewelry store, it remains a diamond. In the same way, your worth does not decrease just because someone fails to see it. Many times in daily life, people forget this truth. A woman might spend her day working tirelessly, caring for her family, managing her job, making sure everything runs smoothly, yet at night, she may feel unappreciated because no one said, "Thank you." Does that mean her efforts are meaningless? Absolutely not. Her worth is not diminished because others fail to notice. Validation is like sugar, sweet but temporary. It gives you a quick rush, but it fades away, leaving you craving more. Self-worth, on the other hand, is like healthy food. It nourishes you from the inside, it sustains you, and it keeps you strong even when no one else is feeding you compliments. The woman who learns to appreciate herself does not starve for external approval. She becomes a fountain of strength, drawing confidence from her own being. Every day, situations test this. Imagine you worked hard on a project at your office. You gave your best, you stayed late, and you ensured everything was perfect. But in the meeting, your boss praises someone else or ignores your effort completely. In that moment, you may feel invisible and doubt whispers, "Maybe I'm not good enough." But here's the truth: your effort, your discipline, your commitment, these things hold value whether or not they were recognized. Just because someone failed to see your brilliance doesn't mean you stopped shining. Validation is fragile because it depends on someone else's mood, opinion, or perspective. But self-worth is stable because it is rooted in who you are. Think about the sun. Every morning, it rises. Sometimes people admire a sunrise, take photos, and post them everywhere. Other times, people are too busy rushing to work and don't even look up at the sky. But the sun does not stop rising just because people didn't clap for it. It shines anyway. That is the power of self-worth. In your daily life, you might face criticism too. Maybe someone comments on your appearance, saying you've gained weight or lost your glow. Maybe someone compares you to another woman who they think is smarter, prettier, or more successful. These words can sting, but only if you allow them to define you. When you know your worth, you understand that other people's words are reflections of their own perception, not the reality of your value. If someone throws mud at a diamond, it doesn't make the diamond less precious. It only means the diamond needs to be cleaned so its true brilliance can be seen again. A woman who understands her self-worth carries herself differently. She walks with confidence, she speaks with clarity, and she does not beg for attention because she knows she is whole already. People feel drawn to her because she radiates authenticity, not desperation. She does not chase after people to be loved. Instead, love flows naturally towards her because she respects herself first. One of the most powerful ways to strengthen your self-worth is through self-talk. At night, when the world is quiet and you are left alone with your thoughts, what do you say to yourself? Do you replay every mistake of the day, criticizing yourself for what you should have done better? Or do you remind yourself of your strengths, your progress, and your resilience? The words you whisper to yourself before sleep shape the energy with which you wake up in the morning. If you constantly feed your mind with thoughts of inadequacy, you will carry that heaviness into tomorrow. But if you affirm your worth every night, you will rise with strength and peace. For example, instead of going to bed saying, "I didn't do enough today," try saying, "I gave my best today, and tomorrow I will rise even stronger." Instead of saying, "Nobody appreciates me," say, "I appreciate myself, and that is enough." These small shifts create massive changes in the way you view yourself. Remember, this applause is temporary, but self-worth is eternal. The world may not always clap for you, but that should not stop you from clapping for yourself. When you start valuing who you are, not for what you produce or how you look, but simply for being the unique soul you are, you become unshakable. So, before you close your eyes tonight, remind yourself, "I am valuable, I am enough, and I do not need anyone else's approval to know my worth." Sleep with that truth in your heart, and you will wake up with a strength that no criticism, no comparison, and no silence can ever take away. Silence the voice of comparison. This is one of the deepest lessons for peace in our daily lives, yet one of the hardest to practice. Comparison is like a thief that quietly enters your mind and steals away your happiness, your confidence, and your contentment. No matter how much you have achieved, if you keep looking at what someone else is doing, you will always feel less. But the truth is, every woman is on her own journey, her own timeline, her own unique path that cannot be measured against anyone else's. Imagine walking into a garden. You see roses, sunflowers, tulips, lilies, and jasmine. Do you ever compare the sunflower with the rose and say, "Why is the sunflower not as fragrant as the rose?" Or do you look at the tulip and complain, "Why doesn't it shine as brightly as the sunflower?" Of course not. You simply admire each flower for what it is. The rose for its beauty, the sunflower for its warmth, the jasmine for its fragrance. In the same way, every woman carries her own gifts, strengths, and qualities. Comparing yourself to another is like asking a sunflower to smell like a rose. It makes no sense. But in our daily lives, we often forget this. Social media is one of the biggest triggers of comparison. You scroll through your phone at night and see someone posting a vacation in a beautiful place, someone else buying a new car, another person looking glamorous at a party. Suddenly, your own life feels small. You think, "Why is my life not like theirs? Why don't I have what they have?" Yet what you see online is not the full truth. It is a highlight reel, carefully chosen to show the brightest moments, while the struggles, tears, and challenges remain hidden. Comparing your real life to someone else's filtered moments is like comparing your behind the scenes to their best scene. it will always feel unfair. Comparison also creeps into personal relationships. Maybe you look at another woman and think, she's a better mother than me. She cooks more, she manages her children better. Or perhaps you see a colleague at work and think, she's smarter, more confident, more successful. These thoughts slowly chip away at your self-esteem. But you must remind yourself, you do not see the full picture of their struggles. The woman who looks perfect in public might cry herself to sleep at night. The colleague who seems confident may be battling silent fears you cannot imagine. You see only the surface, not the depth. The problem with comparison is that it blinds you to your own blessings. When you are constantly looking at someone else's path, you fail to notice the beauty of your own. It's like running a race while staring at the person in the next lane. The more you look sideways, the slower you run, and eventually you stumble. Life works the same way. The moment you stop focusing on your own growth and start obsessing over someone else's, you lose energy, clarity, and direction. Instead of comparing, celebrate. If someone else succeeds, let it inspire you instead of making you insecure. Say to yourself, if she can do it, it means it's possible for me too, in my own time, in my own way. Life is not a competition, it is a journey. Just because someone else's chapter looks different from yours does not mean your story is any less meaningful. A student does not envy another for being in a higher grade. She knows her time will come, and with patience, she too will move forward. Your journey is unfolding exactly as it is meant to. Think of this: the moon and the sun never compete. Each shines in its own time, and each brings light to the world in its own way. When the sun sets, the moon rises. When the moon fades, the sun returns. Both are important, both are powerful, and neither loses value because the other exists. In the same way, your light does not dim because someone else is shining. In daily life, one of the best ways to silence the voice of comparison is to practice gratitude. Every time you catch yourself thinking, I wish I had what she has, pause and remind yourself of what you already have. Maybe it's your health, your supportive family, your skills, your resilience, or simply the fact that you survived a difficult day. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance. It reminds you that your life too is filled with gifts worth appreciating. Another way is to remind yourself of your uniqueness. Write down your strengths. Perhaps you are kind, patient, hardworking, or creative. These are qualities no one else can take from you. When you recognize your individuality, you stop comparing because you realize there is no competition. Just as no two fingerprints are the same, no two lives are the same. Before you go to bed tonight, think of one area where comparison has been stealing your joy. Maybe it's your appearance, your career, your relationships, or your lifestyle. Tell yourself, I release the need to compare. I am enough as I am, and my journey is unfolding beautifully in its own time. Let those words settle into your heart. When you stop comparing, you set yourself free. Free to grow at your own pace, free to enjoy your own blessings, free to love yourself without conditions. And that freedom is where true happiness lies. The power of rest is one of the most underestimated gifts in life. In a world that glorifies business, people often feel guilty when they slow down, as if resting is a sign of weakness. But true strength is not found in constant motion. It is found in knowing when to pause. Rest is not only for the body, but for the mind and the soul. Without it, even the strongest person eventually breaks down. Think of a mobile phone. No matter how expensive or advanced it is, if you don't recharge it, it becomes useless. In the same way, No matter how talented, hardworking, or dedicated you are, if you don't recharge yourself with rest, your energy, focus, and passion begin to fade. Yet so many people, especially women, push themselves beyond their limits every single day. They manage their homes, careers, families, and responsibilities, often forgetting that they too need care. At night, instead of giving themselves permission to rest, they lie awake replaying the day, worrying about tomorrow, and criticizing themselves for not doing enough. This constant cycle drains their spirit. Rest is not laziness. Rest is renewal. It is the fuel that allows you to continue giving, serving, and living with clarity. Even nature teaches us this. The ocean waves do not crash endlessly, they retreat and return. Trees shed their leaves in autumn so they can bloom again in spring. The earth itself rests in cycles, reminding us that pause is necessary for growth. Why then do we resist the rest our own bodies and minds require? Consider a woman who wakes up early every morning, prepares her children for school, goes to work, manages deadlines, returns home, cooks, cleans, and ensures everything is in order. At the end of the day, her body is tired, but her mind is still racing. She lies down yet cannot truly rest because she is already planning tomorrow's responsibilities. Slowly, exhaustion builds, and she begins to feel burnt out. Her patience wears thin, her health declines, and her joy diminishes. This is what happens when rest is neglected. The body keeps score, and eventually it forces you to stop, often through illness or breakdown. But when you give yourself the gift of rest, something magical happens. Rest heals, rest restores. Rest reminds you that you are not a machine, you are a human being. Even a short pause to breathe deeply, to sit in silence, or to reflect with gratitude can renew your spirit. Sleep itself is a miracle. While you rest, your body repairs itself, your mind organizes memories, and your emotions find balance. When you wake up after true rest, you see life with fresh eyes, you think with clarity, and you act with energy. Daily life offers many examples of why rest is powerful. Imagine trying to solve a problem at work. You've been staring at the same numbers or the same words for hours, but nothing makes sense. You feel stuck, then you step away, take a break, maybe walk outside, or even sleep on it. Suddenly, when you return, the solution becomes clear. That is the power of rest. It clears the fog and allows insight to shine through. Or think of an athlete. No matter how strong, no athlete trains every single hour of the day. Their performance improves not only in training, but in rest. Muscles grow stronger during recovery. If an athlete ignores rest, they risk injury and failure. Life is the same. If you keep pushing without pause, you eventually harm your own potential. Rest also has a deeper emotional power. When you allow yourself to slow down, you create space to connect with your inner self. You notice your feelings, your thoughts, your desires. Without rest, you become disconnected, moving through life on autopilot, always doing, but never truly being. Rest reconnects you to yourself. It gives you the chance to breathe, to feel, to remember what really matters. At night, before you go to sleep, rest should not only be physical, but also mental. Many people carry the weight of the whole day into their bed. They think of every mistake, every unfinished task, every worry about tomorrow. No wonder sleep feels restless. Instead, practice releasing the day. Tell yourself, I have done my best today. Whatever is left undone will wait for tomorrow. Tonight, I choose peace. This simple shift can transform your nights into deep healing rest. In daily life, resting can also mean setting boundaries, saying no when you are overwhelmed, taking time for yourself without guilt, sitting in silence without feeling unproductive. These moments of pause are not wasted, they are investments in your well being. A woman who learns to rest is not weaker, she is wiser. She knows that by recharging herself, she can give more love, more energy, and more presence to others. The power of rest is also visible in relationships. When you are tired and drained, small issues turn into big conflicts. You snap at your loved ones, misunderstand their words, and lose patience easily. But when you are rested, you respond with calmness and kindness. Rest strengthens not only your health, but also your ability to nurture harmony with others. So, tonight, when you lie down, don't see sleep as just the end of a long day. See it as a sacred gift, a reset button for your mind, body, and soul. Close your eyes with gratitude, breathe deeply, and allow yourself to sink into the healing silence of rest. Tomorrow, you will wake up not only refreshed, but also stronger, wiser, and more ready to face life. Rest is not a luxury, it is a necessity. And when you honor it, you discover that some of the greatest progress in life happens not when you are doing, but when you are simply allowing yourself to pause. Strength in vulnerability is one of the most misunderstood truths of life. Many people think being strong means hiding emotions, never crying, never admitting pain, and always keeping a brave face, no matter what happens. But real strength is not about pretending. Real strength is about being honest enough to admit, I am human. I hurt, I fall, but I will rise again. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is courage in its purest form. Think about it. When a child cries, no one calls it weakness. It is natural, it is honest. The child does not pretend. But as we grow older, society teaches us to hide, to smile when we feel broken, to act like everything is fine when deep inside we are drowning. The world often applauds the mask, not the truth. Yet masks are heavy. Carrying them every day exhausts the soul. True strength is the ability to take off that mask and say, this is who I am, and I accept myself in every state. Daily life gives countless examples of this. Imagine a woman who has gone through a difficult day. She has handled work stress, family responsibilities, and perhaps personal struggles too. She comes home exhausted, but when someone asks how she is, she smiles and says, I'm fine. Inside, she may be crying, but she hides it because she fears being judged as weak. The truth is, admitting she is tired, admitting she needs support is not weakness. It is strength because it takes courage to be real in a world that tells you to fake perfection. Vulnerability allows healing. When you acknowledge your pain, you give yourself the chance to process it, release it, and grow from it. Pretending to be strong all the time only locks the pain inside, where it grows heavier. For example, when you feel overwhelmed and finally share your feelings with a trusted friend, you often feel lighter, don't you? That releases the power of vulnerability. It doesn't make you weaker, it makes you freer. Think of a tree in a storm. A rigid tree that refuses to bend may break, but a tree that bends with the wind survives. Vulnerability is that ability to bend, to allow yourself to feel, to admit when life is hard, to seek help when needed. It keeps you from breaking. Strength is not the absence of struggle. Strength is continuing even while you struggle. Many women carry silent battles. They smile at work, they cook for their families, they attend social gatherings, yet deep inside, they may be dealing with heartbreak, self-doubt, or fatigue. Society praises them for being strong, but true strength would be giving themselves permission to say, I need rest, I need help, I need space. Vulnerability does not reduce respect, it deepens it. People connect more with authenticity than with perfection. When you share your struggles honestly, others feel safe to share theirs too, and that creates genuine connection. There is another beauty in vulnerability. It reveals resilience. When you allow yourself to cry, you create space for laughter to return. When you admit you fell, you create an opportunity to rise stronger. If you never acknowledge the fall, you miss the lesson it brings. For instance, if a woman faces failure in her career but pretends she is unaffected, she misses the chance to learn, to improve, to grow. But if she admits, yes, I failed and it hurts, but I will try again, that is powerful strength. It shows resilience born out of honesty. In daily life, being vulnerable can be as simple as telling your loved ones, I miss you. Instead of acting like you don't care, it can be admitting, I don't know. Instead of pretending to have all the answers, it can be saying, I'm afraid. Instead of hiding behind silence. Each of these moments takes courage, but they also build deeper trust and stronger relationships. One of the most powerful images of vulnerability is the act of crying. Tears are often seen as weakness, yet they are the body's way of cleansing pain. After crying, most people feel lighter, calmer, and ready to move forward. Tears are not a sign of defeat, they are proof of endurance. That even when the weight is heavy, the soul finds a way to release it. Another example is found in art. A cracked piece of pottery may seem broken, but in Japanese tradition they repair it with gold, creating something even more beautiful. The cracks are not hidden, they are highlighted, showing that brokenness can become a part of beauty. Human beings are the same. Vulnerability shows our cracks, but those cracks are where strength, growth, and wisdom enter. At night when you lie in bed, allow yourself to reflect honestly. You don't have to tell the world, but at least tell yourself the truth. If you felt sad, admit it. If you felt weak, accept it. If you struggled, honor it. These admissions are not lowering your value, they are raising your strength because they allow you to be real. Remember, strength is not about never falling, it is about never staying down. Vulnerability gives you the courage to face your falls and rise again. The most inspiring people are not those who never struggled, but those who struggled openly and still chose to continue. So, before you close your eyes tonight, remind yourself, being vulnerable does not mean you are broken. It means you are brave enough to feel, strong enough to admit, and wise enough to grow. And in that honesty lies your greatest power. Purpose over pressure is a principle that can transform the way you live your life. Too often, people are trapped under the weight of expectations. Expectations from family, from society, from culture, and even from themselves. The pressure to look a certain way, to achieve certain milestones at a certain age, to meet endless standards that others set for you. But living under constant pressure leaves you feeling exhausted, empty, and unsatisfied. Purpose, on the other hand, fills you with meaning. It gives you clarity, energy, and direction. When you choose purpose over pressure, you stop running someone else's race and begin walking your own true path. In daily life, the pressure is everywhere. A woman may feel it in her career. You must get promoted by this age. You must earn this much money. You must have this title to be respected. She may feel it in her personal life. You must marry at this age. You must have children by this time. You must live according to tradition. Even in small things, society whispers, you must look younger, you must weigh less, you must be perfect. All these voices create an invisible burden that women carry every single day. The result, stress, anxiety, and a constant sense of, I am not enough. But ask yourself this, who decides what enough is? Pressure is built on comparison and competition. It says, You must do what others are doing, and you must do it faster or better. Purpose, however, is different. Purpose is not about keeping up with anyone else. Purpose is about asking, what is meaningful to me? What makes my life feel alive? What is the reason I wake up every morning? When you live with purpose, you are no longer chained by the opinions of others. You live with intention, and that gives you freedom. Think about this in simple examples. Imagine two women working in the same office. One works because she feels pressured to earn more money, to prove herself, and to gain recognition. Every day she feels stressed, worried about outperforming others, constantly afraid of making mistakes. The other works with purpose. She sees her job as a way to grow, to contribute, to provide for her family, or to develop her talents. She may face the same challenges, but she handles them with calmness because she is guided by inner meaning, not outside pressure. Who do you think feels more fulfilled? Clearly, the one with purpose. Or take another example, a woman who cooks every day. If she cooks under pressure, thinking, I must make it perfect so no one complains, I must impress everyone, I must prove myself, the task feels heavy, stressful, and draining. But if she cooks with purpose, thinking, I am nourishing myself and my loved ones, I am putting love into this food, I am grateful to have this chance, the same act becomes joyful. The task hasn't changed, but her perspective has. That is the difference between pressure and purpose. Living under pressure often leads to burnout. It pushes you into a race where you are constantly chasing something, but never arriving. Purpose, on the other hand, creates peace. When you know why you are doing something, even difficult tasks feel lighter. For instance, a mother who wakes up in the middle of the night to comfort her child doesn't feel the same heaviness as she might if she were forced to stay up for meaningless work. The purpose of love gives her energy even when she is tired. Purpose also helps you say no. Pressure forces you to say yes to everything because you fear disappointing others. But with purpose, you understand what truly matters and you let go of what doesn't. You realize that not every invitation, not every demand, and not every expectation deserves your energy. Purpose allows you to focus, and focus brings peace. Many people confuse success with purpose. They think success is about money, recognition, or status. But success without purpose feels empty. There are countless stories of people who reached the top of their careers, earned everything they thought they wanted, and still felt lost inside. Why? Because they lived under pressure, not under purpose. Real success is not about how much you have, but how meaningful it feels. Daily life shows this truth again and again. A woman who volunteers to help others may not earn money for it, but she feels fulfilled because she is living her purpose. Another woman may earn a large salary but feel exhausted and disconnected because she is only working out of pressure. The difference is not the activity itself, but the reason behind it. Purpose also gives strength during challenges. When life gets hard, pressure makes you crumble because you are trying to meet expectations that were never truly yours. But purpose gives you resilience. If your purpose is to create a better future for your children, you will endure hardships with patience. If your purpose is to grow as a person, you will see failures as lessons instead of disasters. Pressure breaks you, purpose builds you. At night, before you sleep, reflect on your day. Did you live today under pressure, or did you live with purpose? Did you act because you were afraid of judgment, or did you act because it mattered to you? These questions help you realign your path. The beauty is that it's never too late to shift. You can release the weight of pressure and choose the lightness of purpose anytime you decide. Remember this: pressure is like a storm, loud, chaotic, and draining. Purpose is like a compass, steady, guiding, and reassuring. One will tire you out, the other will lift you up. Choose purpose. Because in the end, no one remembers how perfectly you met society's expectations. But they will always feel the impact of a life lived with meaning. So tonight, tell yourself, I will no longer carry the burden of pressure. I choose to live with purpose. I choose meaning over approval, direction over distraction, peace over stress. And when you wake up tomorrow, take one step, however small, towards that purpose. Slowly you will find your life transforming, not into something others expect of you, but into something you truly desire for yourself.